room's enough to talk.
Sure, take your time, man.
I'm gonna go ahead and give this whenever you're ready.
Do you prefer live or stick? What's easiest for you?
Whatever's easiest for you.
You pick, whichever. You love. There we are, my friend. One more for you.
Thank you.
Okay. So I know over the scanner we heard initially it was 3. Okay.
We've only confirmed one.
Can you give me a check?
Sure. Check, check. 1, 2, 3. Sound. Good. 13 good. Fox 6 good. CBS good. Miss Carol good. All right. Good evening, everyone. I'm Officer Truman Fitzgerald with the Birmingham Police Department's Public Information Division, along with Birmingham Police Department's Public Information Officer, Sergeant Wade. Right now, our patrol officers and detectives are on the scene of a homicide. Shortly after 8 p.m., South Precinct officers began receiving multiple shot spotter alerts in and around the 4400 block of 9th Avenue North. Officers arrived on scene when they entered a parking lot in the Kingston community and observed an adult male victim, unresponsive, suffering from an apparent gunshot wound. Birmingham Fire and Rescue personnel arrived on the scene and pronounced the victim deceased. The preliminary investigation has uncovered that there were multiple shot spotter alerts. Right now, our detectives and patrol officers are having a bit of a hard time getting people to talk. So we want to point out just how many rounds were fired on this scene. We're going to give some addresses for shot spotter alerts that went out. So our officers began receiving shot spotter alerts in the 800 block of 44th Place North 4 times. These are separate volleys of shots being fired. In the 900 block of 44th Place North, again in the 800 block of 44th Place North, again in the 800 block of 44th Place North, again in the 800 block of 44th Place North, and finally in the 4600 block of Richard Arrington Jr. Boulevard North. Our shot spotter alerts have registered upwards to 90 plus rounds. We believe there was a shootout that took place in the middle of the Kingston neighborhood. We have one victim who's deceased. Originally, this went out as 3 people being shot. However, we only have 1. There's no one in custody, and we understand why people may be hesitant to come forward. That's why we're urging anyone with information to dial Crime Stoppers. You can remain anonymous, and you can receive a cash reward for your tip.
So over what period of time were those shot spotter calls received?
We're talking within a minute. We're talking 10 rounds, 15 rounds, 8 rounds, 20 rounds, 14 rounds, 6 rounds, all being fired in succession.
Do you know if the victim had a gun?
That's unconfirmed at this time. However, once we get the Jefferson County Coroner's Office, he or she will be able to examine the victim further.
But you think multiple people were firing shots, or more than two, or?
We can say comfortably that we believe gunshots were exchanged between at least 2 parties.
This seems like it's a pretty big area that's roped off right now. I mean, how big is the scene that we're working with? There's another whole address that you mentioned as well.
We receive shot spot alerts from multiple addresses. This parking lot is pretty big in itself. So we're going to rope off as large of an area as we need. And our officers are going to remain on the scene as long as we have to process this scene.
How fortunate are you that nobody else was hurt, considering Kingston is always has a lot of people out, and Memorial Day and children playing?
Yes, ma'am. You hit on it perfectly. A holiday, we've seen a lot of tragedy take place in Kingston with innocent bystanders struck by gunfire, and it's only by the grace of God that we didn't have anyone additionally struck, you know. So we're sad we lost one life, but this could have been much worse.
Hey Truman,
Yes, sir.
I know it's been a busy holiday weekend for you guys. I know it's upsetting that you've had to do this multiple times.
It's upsetting. However, my heart goes out to our patrol officers and our homicide detectives, because they're, you know, the true police officers that are out here in the streets every day. Our detectives are the men and women that are spending the long hours investigating these crimes, interacting with the victim's family. So those are the true heroes in these situations, not me or our office.
When we talked, was it Saturday night was the homicide?
Yes, ma'am.
And there had been 6, that was one of 6 shootings. Do you know now how many there have been this weekend?
We are investigating close to 10 people shot from Friday until Memorial Day
10
holiday.
including the 2 homicides, or 10 plus the 2 homicides?
Probably 10 including this shooting that we're on now.
And there's a lot of people obviously out here. Some of them might be here for the holiday, but you know, just maybe talk about the importance of people who have seen something sharing what they've seen.
Yes, ma'am. We want to express this. If you saw something, we understand why you would be afraid. That's why we're encouraging you, dial Crime Stoppers. It's completely anonymous. When you dial Crime Stoppers, they don't even ask for your name. They assign you a number. That number stays with you the whole time until you give your tip and you receive your reward. The other end never knows who they're talking to. They know you only by the number that you're issued when you first call.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, because this seems like a very public thing, and people would have heard a lot of this.
They did, and we had a large number of people on scene when our first patrol officer was here. So we know someone saw something. That's why we encourage you, remain anonymous, receive upwards towards $5,000 plus for your reward money. All right. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.